Hey, hi everyone. Sat Shri Akal and good afternoon to you all. Once again, welcome to the live of Right Directions today. My name is Gurinderjeet Kaur and I am the Senior Master Trainer in IELTS at Right Directions. So I have come live today to talk about one of the interesting modules of IELTS, that is speaking. Now, this particular module in IELTS is one of the most difficult module when it comes to scoring a higher band score, especially for those candidates who appear for their general training IELTS test. So, today I would like to share some sort of strategies, some tips on different parts in your this module of IELTS so that you can score 8+ bands in your IELTS speaking module. So let's start now. Now on the go, let's start about what I would cover today in this live. The very first is the tips and techniques to score above 8 in your speaking. Then I would also do the explanation of some useful idioms. Students, this you can even use in your writing module as well. I would also tell you the usage of words in different ways. I would also put some light on the rules to be kept in mind when you prepare for your IELTS speaking module. Then again, I would talk about the assessment criteria. You might be aware about it, but still I would like to put some light on this. I would also give you some helpful templates for part 1. Now, these templates would really be helpful for you whenever you practice some of the questions. Okay? Then I would even share some important tips on the part 1 of your speaking module. I would also tell you about what your examiner actually wants or what examiner looks for. I would also do the briefing of part 2. I would even discuss the do's and don'ts. I would also give you the list of different types of topics that would come in your speaking test. Finally, I would just do the introduction to part 3. So I hope you all just stay tuned with me till the end of this live so that this session or this live would really be a good live for you. Let's start with it then. So, how to score 8+ in IELTS speaking? Now, try to be chatty, not smart. Many a times, many of the candidates add a lot of synonyms and they just, have a lot of sentence structures. They add a lot of ideas and they think that, it would really get them a higher score in IELTS speaking. But that's not enough, students. You need to be really talkative. The more talkative you are, the more lively you would be in your conversation. The next is don't be too formal. The thing is, it's not an interview where you have to go for your job interview. You can be informal. Just take it as a conversation with your friend. Try adding some idioms, try adding some good words so that it would really be helpful for you. Give open answers. Now, let me give you an example over here. Students, if the examiner asks you a question, so as, do you like to go to gym? Now, if you answer the question in this way, yes, I like to go to the gym, but I think, so this is not the correct way to answer the question. You need to be really open when it comes to answering your questions. What you can do is you can answer this question easily this way. Ma'am, I'm not much into gym these days as I'm working, so I remain quite occupied with my office work all the time. But yes, of course, long back when I was in my college, I was regularly into gym. Okay? Then don't hesitate. If you hesitate, you would definitely get nervous. If you get nervous, you won't be going smoothly with your interview. The next is don't be controversial. Many of the people become really nervous when they have a lot of big questions. You don't have to be controversial. Being controversial brings, web of questions to you, and you may find it really difficult to answer all the questions. Don't even be too fast. Being too fast would really put you in a lot of errors when it comes to your speaking module. What you can do is, instead of being into a lot of speed when you just answer the questions, try to start slow just at the beginning of your interview. You need to maintain an even pace throughout your interview. That means if you start slow with your interview, you need to just go into that smoothness till the end of your interview, students. Now, remember that your examiner may interrupt you. The answers you are giving, you may even have cross questions or the connected questions on your answers. As many a times, let's say the student give the answer such as, I really like going to swimming pool. So if the examiner finds something interesting in your answer, he or she may ask you a lot of questions that would be connected to this answer. He or she may ask why. That means, why do you like going to the swimming pool? Okay? Or what type of activities you do when you go to a swimming pool? Okay? Don't repeat, please. This is the most important thing to remember when it comes to your speaking module in your IELTS exam. Instead of doing repetition, try to use a different set of words. Be into vocabulary, as a repetition would really have a negative impact on your speaking module. You need to talk for full 2 minutes of your time in your part 2. That means, please don't stop yourselves. Let your examiner stop you. Continue with your topic till the examiner stops you. Now, the 1 minute that you get to prepare your task 2, that is your part 2 cue card, don't waste that time, please. Take time to prepare and write some notes. That would really make it easy for you to deliver your cue card impressively. Let's see what else we have. Now, you need to give broader ideas when it comes to your part 3 in your speaking module. This particular part is the part where you can show your actual command over the language. You can show how good knowledge do you have about different grammar structures, the tenses, the articles. So you need to even give justifications for your answers. I would just tell you to give reasons, and please even add examples as you need to expand your answers in your part 3. Now, in part 3, the questions are asked on general topics. So here you need to talk in general. That is, you don't have to use your personal experiences over here or personal examples. Of course, until and unless the examiner asks you your opinion. Now, paraphrase if you don't know the word. When you are about to explain anything and you don't get the word in English, use a different word for that. This is called paraphrasing. Okay? That would also increase your band score when it comes to your IELTS speaking module. Remember, you have to talk at a comfortable speed and use appropriate linking words such as because, although. These kind of words really help to connect your ideas. Okay? Now, use conversation fillers to give you thinking time. Instead of being quiet, use fillers. You can use some of the fillers such as the, or you can use you know, or you can even use I mean. Okay? Now use as wide a range of words as possible. This means don't keep using certain, set of words again and again in your speaking module. You need to have a good collection of words when it comes to scoring high in your speaking module. To get A+ in your speaking, use cohesive devices. Now, what are cohesive devices? These are the elements that really bind your speaking ideas and bring logical meaning. Okay? So you can even use synonyms. Adding synonyms or adding adverbs also give stars or add stars to your speaking part. Avoid giving a list. Please use a range of different vocabulary and grammatical structures. Okay? Now moving next. These are 25 useful idioms and I am going to explain each of these along with the usage in these sentences. You can use these idioms and you can just boost your score in your speaking. Okay? You can even click a picture of these idioms if you want. Okay? But students, always remember the type of idiom you use should be used appropriately. You should know how to use and where to use a particular idiom. Otherwise, it would really affect your band score again. So, here I am with the explanation of each of your idiom. The first is a penny for your thoughts. This means when you ask someone who is being very quiet about what is on their mind. So, for several minutes they sat silently. Then finally, she looked at him and said, "A penny for your thoughts, Walter." That means you're sitting in a group together and you're doing a discussion, but all of a sudden you all are quiet and you are thinking about something and you just want to have ideas of Walter. So you just tell that a penny for your thoughts. Second is against the clock. Do something as fast as possible and try to finish it before a certain time. This means that you just want to do something as fast as possible. When you have a fixed time for that, you just want to finish up before the time. Example is, with her term paper due on Monday, she was racing against the clock to finish it. Okay? The next is lend an ear. This means to listen carefully and in a friendly way to someone. Okay? Example is, if you have any problems, go to Claire. She'll always lend a sympathetic ear. That means she always listens carefully. Okay? Then on cloud 9. So this idiom is mostly used by many of the candidates. On cloud 9 mean very happy. Okay? Example, she just bought her first new car and she's on cloud 9. That means she is really happy. The next is bushed. This means tired. An example is here. I'm totally bushed after staying up so late. Okay, that means I'm totally tired. Moving further, hard feelings. Now, this means the emotion of being upset or offended. An example I have mentioned is, I'm sorry, I have to fire you. No hard feelings, okay? The next one is hit the hay. This means go to bed. Example is, it's 12 o'clock. I think it's time to hit the hay. Okay? Another is, be sick to death of something or of doing something. This means to be angry and bored because something unpleasant has been happening for too long. Here's a simple example on that. I'm sick to death of doing nothing but work. Let's go out tonight and have fun. This means she's getting too bored and angry of doing nothing but all-time work. Okay? Then we have come rain or shine. This means something will happen regardless of any difficulties. Mean whatever the condition is, something's gonna happen. A good example is, I will be on time for the class, rain or shine. Or, come rain or shine, she is always smiling. This means whatever the circumstances are, whatever the situation is, she's always smiling. Okay? Next is be all ears. This means eager and ready to listen. Example is, I'm all ears, waiting to hear your latest excuse for not getting this job done. Okay? This means I'm ready to listen, okay, as I'm waiting to hear your latest excuse. Like, what excuse do you have for not getting this job done? So as why this job has not been done, the work has not been done by you. Okay? Let's move further. Then we have in the nick of time. This means not too late but very close. Example is, I got to the drugstore just in the nick of time. It's a good thing because I really need this medicine. This means she was not too late, but she was at the right time to the drugstore. Okay? Next is fresh or clean out of something. This means have sold or used up the last of something. Example is, I have to go buy some more milk. It seems we are fresh out now. Mean they have used up even the last of the quantity of milk they had. Okay? Let's move to the next one. Have or get mixed feelings about something. This means to be uncertain about something. An example is, I have mixed feelings about my trip to England. I love the people, but the climate upsets me. Okay, fine. Moving to the next one. Give it one's best shot. Now, this is also commonly used by many of the candidates. Okay, this means do the best that one can. Example is, this test question is really tough. I'll give it my best shot and I'll get some marks for doing my best. Okay, coming to the next one, in deep water. This means in difficulty or in trouble or in a dangerous situation. An example I have just written over here is, he has not submitted his dissertation, so he is in deep water. That means he is in difficult condition now or situation now. Okay? Moving to the next idiom, we have next to nothing. This means to cost very little. Example is, I went to the new discount store and bought these new shoes for only $5. That's next to nothing. That means she had to pay less. Okay, fine. The next one is to be up in arms about something. This means upset or angry about something. I have just written one example, and the example is she has been up in arms about the rent increase. That means she is quite angry and upset about the rent increase. Okay, fine. Then, put yourself in somebody's shoes. This means imagine that you are in somebody's position in order to understand his or her feelings. Here's a simple example. If you put yourself in my shoes, you would understand why I made that decision. Okay? This really means that if you are at my position, or if you will be at my position, you would really understand why I have made that decision. Okay? Next is all. Okay, at all costs, sorry. Okay? This means do everything you can to achieve or succeed something. Example is, my dream is to become a successful businessman, and I will work hard for it at all costs. Okay? The next one is explore all avenues. Now this is quite different from all other idioms. I think it's also a new one to you all. Okay? So it means investigate every possible means to find a solution to a given problem or to achieve the desired outcome. Okay? Fine. This is explained in this example. We need to explore all avenues before doing something. That is not very safe to a great number of people in order to minimize unfavorable consequences. This really means that we need to look at different consequences. We need to even look at all the possible negatives and all the possible positives before doing something. Okay, to avoid any sort of, unfavorable consequences or any sort of difficulties later. Okay. Now, I'm just going to explain all this because, many a times students ask me that, ma'am, whether we can use the phrases or the idioms in our speaking or not. And if we want to use, so how can we use and how we will understand the particular idiom? Okay, so I have just taken this particular part to explain in my live so that it becomes really easy for you to understand and to use the idioms. Otherwise, students, I have seen that whenever the candidates try to use idioms in their speaking module, they end up, having a band score of 6 or 6.5 because they just do that really inappropriately and incorrectly. Okay, fine. So just be careful if you use idioms. Okay. The next one is on the ball. This really means active and aware of things. Example is, our staff is really on the ball to get projects done on time. That's really true for the team at RDS. We are really on the ball to get all our projects done on time. Touch wood. Okay. So the next one is throw in the towel. This means give up on something. Okay. Example is, I have spent too much time on this project to throw in the towel now. This means I have just spent a lot of time on this project to just give up now. Okay. Next one is down to earth. This really means practical and realistic or back to reality. The example is, it's time we were brought down to earth to figure out a difficult situation and offer a good solution. Okay? Down to earth even mean you're humble. Okay? It's also quite commonly used by many of the candidates. Okay? Then the next one is full of beans. It's really a good one. Students, try using this one, and it's really easy to use. This means a person who is lively, active and healthy. Example is, I really enjoy being with my best friend because he's always full of beans. Here comes the last idiom. Okay, don't get bored, please. Get a head start. This means start before all others. An example is, this year we'll get a head start on the competition by running more advertisements. Okay, fine. Now, let's move further. This was all about different types of idioms that you can use in your speaking. Okay, many a times students even use the idioms in their task 2, okay, in their writing module. Make sure, please, use the idioms carefully. I'm just saying that again. Okay, so moving next. Now, students, pay attention. I'm just going to put some light on different words that students use and how these words make a big difference in giving you band score. Now, if you see the left hand side, we have the words, okay, that are used and that are of only band 6, okay. And we have different set of words on the right hand side, and these really would gain you a 8 band score in your speaking. So try using good words, please. I have just given you examples over here. You can again just note down these words, or you can just take a picture of these. For the word amazing, you can use incredible or fabulous. If you want to mention anger, you can talk about inflame or infuriate, or rather you can pronounce it as infuriate. If you want to just use the word answer, you can use reply or respond. Instead of using ask, you can use examine or demand. Instead of using bad, you may use wicked or corrupt. The word beautiful could be replaced by comely or gorgeous. Then start could also be replaced by begin or commence. And lastly, come could be replaced by approach or arrive. I hope the set of these words would really be helpful for you. Please try practicing all these words in your speaking. Moving next, some basic rules to be kept in mind. Yes, I am just sharing some rules that you need to keep in mind when it comes to your speaking module. Tip 1. Avoid giving one-word answers, please. It's not a quiz contest. The examiner really wants to check your language skills. So you need to frame sentences, students. Okay? And IELTS teaches you to lie. Lie if needed, please. Okay? But expand and say something specific. You need to expand your answers. Okay? Coming to the tip 2. Focus on using words you know. Now, most of the candidates do the mistake of using big words or the fancy words in their speaking, and they believe that it would really give them a band 8 or above. If you can do that carefully and appropriately, you can go ahead. Otherwise, if you can't pronounce the words correctly or you don't know the correct use, please choose a simple word, because you don't have to be into lot mistakes. Tip 3. Don't think too much and do not memorize the answers. Taking too much time to think an idea or to get an idea into your mind will really affect your band score. And please do not even cram your answers. Just be natural in delivering whatever ideas you have in your brain. Moving to the tip 4. Speak slowly, but not too slowly. Okay? You need to be clear in your pronunciation. Rushing with your answers will result in more errors. Obviously, when you rush, and you just try to cover all those ideas that you have in your brain, you just end up doing a lot of mistakes, and you even get stuck when you just want to explain more ideas. Okay? So try to go slow and smooth. Fine? Tip 5 is you need to be natural and polite. People, just note one thing. Whenever you go for your IELTS speaking test, examiner really wants a polite answer to every question. Okay? Being aggressive or being too loud when it comes to your speaking module will also affect your band score. Okay, I hope the tips were really useful for you. Now let's move ahead. The assessment criteria, of course, the most important. Now there are 4 main parts to the IELTS speaking marking criteria. What are these? The pronunciation is really important. That is the sound that comes up when you speak out words. You need to be into the correct pronunciation, please. Okay? There are simple words. I would just give examples over here. Okay? dengue, that is pronounced incorrectly as dengue, is pronounced correctly as dengue. It's dengue. Another word is asthma, that is really pronounced incorrectly. It is not pronounced as asthma, students. You need to pronounce it as asthma. Of course, there are a lot more words, okay, that are pronounced wrongly. You need to just go through the correct pronunciation. Then second is lexical resource. Now this is the vocabulary. Okay. Just always have big, you can say, collection of good words. Okay. Don't even keep repeating those words, please. Don't repeat. Okay. Add good list of words into your speaking. That would really boost your speaking, and I just assure you a score of 8+ in your speaking module if you do so. The third marking criteria is the grammatical range and accuracy. You should be grammatically correct when it comes to your speaking module, students, and you need to be really accurate in whatever you are telling the examiner. Okay? The last marking criteria is fluency and coherence. Be fluent, be smooth, be easy with your answers. Okay? Coherence means whatever ideas you're using, these should be really connected, and they should really have some logical sense. Okay? Let's move forward then. Now, I'm just going to give you a lot of templates so you could practice in your part 1. Okay? These are really, really helpful, students. You can just note down these, or you can just take a picture of this slide. Okay, you can just practice these templates. You can just fill in the blanks. Okay, and just try practicing these questions, please. This will really help you to get assured 8+ bands in your speaking module. I'm just sharing some of the examples over here. Okay, the examiner asks a question. Tell me about the town you live. So you can answer the question in this way. I live in dash. That means you have to fill up the blank over here. I'm just filling up the blanks over here so that you may have, a good, you can say, view and the good understanding of the template. Okay. I live in Karnal. I have been living here for 30 years. It's a big city, okay, with a lot of good facilities available. Okay. So I hope it was really interesting. Then again, the next question is, what's the most interesting part of your place? You can simply say that the most interesting part for me is probably, now talk about any particular area in your city that has a lot of, you can say, fascinating views, and that adds to the beauty of your city. Okay, I'm just giving you example as the most interesting part for me is probably the sector 32 in my city, as it's spread in, lot of acres of land, and it also has a 5-star hotel, that is Noor Mahal, that really adds to the beauty of my city. Okay. Another question is, what kind of jobs do people do there? You can answer this type of question in n number of ways. Okay, I have just, given a sort of template over here. Okay, believing that it would be really easy for you to use. Now you can answer the question as a variety of jobs, I think. There are a lot of small scale industries, okay, which are the major source of income for this city. A number of people also work in the, you can use over here, hospitality industry as well. Okay. Moving next. Now, how to talk about your town, your home, or your accommodation. Accommodation means the place where you live. Okay? You should have some sort of basic vocabulary to describe home and flats. Don't go that, flat in your answers, please. Try adding more vocabulary, use collocations. I have just mentioned some of these over here as detached house, a townhouse, a cozy bungalow, a spacious flat, a comfy apartment, a high-rise building. Now, I'm just going to use these just to show you how it can really boost your band score. Okay? Now, the question is, do you live in a house or a flat? What kind of accommodation do you live in? Okay? So, either the question will be, do you live in a house or a flat? Or the question can be, what kind of accommodation do you live in? Your answer can be, I live in a spacious flat. I'm adding the word spacious from here. Okay? I live in a spacious flat in the suburban areas of the city or suburban area of the city. It's not too big, not too small, but it's really nice and a lot cozy. Okay? I hope you're getting the things whatever I'm explaining. Moving next, the question is, who do you live with? Now you can answer this question in 3 different ways, and I have mentioned all 3 different ways over here. If you live with your wife or your husband, you can say, I live with my husband. We have been living together for 5 years. And your answer is just complete. Or if you live with your parents, what you can do is, you can say, I live with my parents and I've always lived with them actually. Okay? Another form of your answer can be, I share a house actually with some of my friends. We have been living together for approximately 10 months now. Okay? The next question is, how is your room decorated? Now, I have just noted this thing that when it comes to decoration, most of the candidates find it a lot difficult to explain. They just don't understand whether they have to talk about the interior of the particular room or whether they have to talk about the walls, the decoration, what they have to just explain in that. So I'm making it much easier for you by giving you a lot hints. Okay? When this type of question comes to you in your speaking module, you can just talk about the furniture you have in your room, that is the sofas, chairs, and tables. You can talk about the photos and paintings, okay, on tables or hanging on the walls. You can even talk about the adornments. Now, what are adornments? These are the extra elements that add to the beauty of your room. Now, many a times when you visit, the high class family people, okay, so you may have this scent, you may see the scented candles in their rooms, okay, and you may even talk about the figurineness, that is the statues of God or goddess. We usually just see that many of the people in the houses, they have laughing Buddha, okay, that also, obviously spreads happiness around, and this really adds to the beauty of your room again. Okay, you can even talk about some of the plants. The Hindu families have money plants in their rooms or in their lobbies. Okay, they believe that this particular plant brings large prosperity to the family. Okay, so you can just talk about these kind of things when it comes to your decoration. Okay, fine. Moving further, now I'm just going to share some important tips. Okay, and I hope these tips are really good and easy for you to follow. The very first tip is listen to some English before the test, as this will help you get in the mood. Okay? Get yourself mentally prepared, students. Even if you are nervous now, which is quite normal, everyone, gets nervous whenever we appear for an exam. But being and staying positive is really important. If you are positive, you will deliver good thoughts easily. Now, when you sit for your IELTS speaking test, ignore any notes the examiner makes. Examiner may make notes and these are usually the timings they follow. Okay? These are not your score and have nothing to do with you. So, my suggestion to you is ignore them. Okay? Ignore any notes that are made by the examiner, please. Just concentrate on your speaking. Now, next is keep your answers short and sweet. Students, when it comes to your part 1, you should have short answers. Okay? That means 2 to 3 sentences are enough. Or let's say a maximum of 4 to 5 sentences if why or why not are asked, by the examiner. Okay? Next is do not memorize the answers. As I told you earlier, it looks like you're reading the book. Okay? Which is not the correct way to answer the questions. Fine? Moving next. Remember that your IELTS speaking is a test of your natural spoken English, not the written English. Repeat the question. Sometimes it's a good idea to repeat the question. It just buys you the time to think. Okay? And this is also a very natural way of speaking. I'm just sharing an example over here. Let's say the examiner asks you the question as, what's your favorite room? So you can answer the question as, what's my favorite room? Okay, I think my favorite room is my bedroom. Okay, and then you can just give the explanation. Fine. This is also a good way to just add something interesting to your answer and just, being smart and buying the time to think. Okay. Now, avoid lists, please. For questions like, what do you do every day? You don't have to give a list of things that you do. Please avoid doing that. Instead, just, choose 2 things and give some small details. Explain these 2 things. Okay, that would make your answer much effective. Okay, now, what the examiner looks for. Your examiner does not want to see how many answers you have memorized or crammed, or how many big, fancy or high-level words you know. Your examiner is not even looking for how many different grammar structures and tenses you know, or what kind of accent you carry. Okay? The examiner does want to see how well you can communicate through spoken English. Rather, there's a little more to it than that. The examiner in the IELTS speaking exam is simply testing if you can open your mouth and communicate in English or not. Okay? So don't make it more complicated, please. Keep it simple. Fine. Okay, then moving next. I'm going to talk about the part 2 now. As many candidates have asked me a lot of times that, what we have to do in our part 2 and how to score a band score of 8 plus in our part 2. Because, this is your individual turn and you may find a lot of difficulties in talking continuously for 2 minutes without any sort of interruption from your examiner. Okay? That's why I've come up, with this thing in my life as well. So, your part 2 is a given topic. Okay, fine. And you have 3 to 4 of your bullet points. These are even called as sub-questions. These are actually, printed just to guide your talk, just to give you hints to explain your cue card. Okay, fine. And then again, the topic may vary. Okay, you may have a different topic in your speaking, but the format is always the same. So here I have shared the format. A cue card is over here. You can just see this cue card. It would really give you a lot of hints, okay, about how the topics actually appear in your part 2. The topic is describe an occasion or activity. Okay, fine, I'm sorry for that. When you got up extremely early. And the sub-questions are when you got up early, why you got up early, what you did, and explain how you felt about it. So this is your main topic statement you have to explain, and you've got these as hints. So you need to talk about these. Okay? Now, how to get a high score in your task, rather the part 2 of your speaking module. Students, there are many questions and many different type of topics for your part 2 of speaking test. And it's almost impossible to prepare all those kind of topics. But yes, all these topics fit into one of these categories. Okay? The categories are people, place, events, activities, and things. Okay? Fine. And then again, my suggestion again to you all is please follow the 2PF formula when it comes to your cue card explanation. Now, what it means? This 2PF means you need to talk about the past, present, and future tense in your cue card. Okay? Just try adding a story in the beginning of your topic and then come to the main topic explanation and then just connect it to the future. That would really bring you an assured 8+ band score in your speaking part. Okay? And by focusing on all these categories, it helps us get control over the part 2 of your speaking module. Moving next now, what not to do. When it comes to your cue card explanation, you don't have to deliver the memorized answers. Again, I'm saying that because, the crammed answers may really just, let you down in your overall score. Okay? And don't try to learn a lot of expressions that are far above your level. Please use the type of expressions, the words according to your level of understanding. Okay? Don't waste your 1-minute preparation time, please. Instead, use it wisely. Make some notes. You even are provided with the blank paper and a pencil when you sit for your speaking test. So you can make notes. Okay? Fine. You can even see those notes, while you speak on your topic. Okay? Another thing is don't rush. Don't be too quick into delivering your cue card explanation. Instead, breathe and begin slowly. Choose your words carefully at the start to give a solid beginning to your topic, as this would really help you out in just achieving a higher band score again. Okay? So let's see what kind of cue cards we have. I have made it much easier for you all, as I have just, I have got all the cue cards into 9 different types of, you can say, cue cards. Okay, fine. So the first type of cue card is cue cards that ask you to describe an event in the past. It could be anything, fine, in the past. Then the second type of cue card is the cards that ask you to describe a person. Example, your favorite sports person, your favorite historical personality, anything like that. Okay? Then cue cards that ask you to describe a habit. Okay? Then cue cards that ask you to describe an object. Cue cards that ask you to describe a place. Or cue cards that ask you to describe a hypothetical desire. I would just explain all these types of cue cards in my next live. Okay, I'm just giving you a list of these so that you may not get confused when it comes to your type of cue cards in your part 2. Okay, then again, cue cards that ask you to describe a favorite thing. Or cue cards that ask you to describe a cultural event or item. Or the last type of cue card, is the cue cards that ask you to describe something crazy. Okay? You need to stay tuned, with us, all the people, to just have, the insight to all these type of cue cards to have, a good hand at your speaking module. Okay, then let me just introduce you to the part 3 finally. Okay, this is the ending part of my life today, so please just pay attention. Okay, now your part 3 is the two-way discussion. That's the two-way discussion where your examiner and you will interact, will discuss, okay, and the examiner will ask you questions on more abstract issues and concepts over here. So you need to show, that you have great knowledge, that you are really a good, you can say, user of this particular language. Okay, fine. What you can do is you can give examples, you can give reasons, and you can elaborate your answers by adding situations to your answers. Okay, in your part 3, it's really difficult to predict what kind of questions are asked on what different type of topics. Okay, so you need to be really prepared for whatever is coming to you in your part 3. Again, a question arises. Students ask me, ma'am, how long we should, deliver the answer when it comes to our part 3. So let me help you out in that. Now, the part 3 answers can be stretched up to 8 to 9 of your sentences. Okay, because it's the discussion round, you need to just give a lot of things to just, make it much, you can say, effective, and make it much, you can say, easier for the examiner to score your speaking test, or to give you the speaking, you can say, score. Okay, so thanks for watching. This is all I have today to share with you all. Okay, and if you just like today's session, please just give your reactions, do leave your comments, okay, and please share it as much as you can. You can connect us and contact us at our helpline. Okay, you can even just send mails to us, and you may even join our free online classes. You only need to register yourselves. You don't have to pay anything for the first week, students. You get the freemium packages. That's really a great thing we are just doing. We just want the candidates to score good, to just fulfill their dreams of studying abroad or to settling down abroad. Okay, and I just feel really proud to announce that we have branches all over India, and you can even just visit the branches in particular. Okay, and you can just get yourself registered with us. Again, you can follow us on different platforms. We are available on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Quora, okay, and a lot more. Don't forget to follow us back, and even subscribe our channel on YouTube, please. That's all for the day. Thank you so much for being so patient and to be just that attentive in my life today. Thank you. Good day to you all. Gurinderjeet Kaur this side. Take care.